Hello everyone, it's Melissa and I am back, and today I am sharing another project, and this is a 12 by 12 layout for my 2019 family album that I do every year. I usually almost always do a cover, and so I'm starting off by using a 4 by 6 picture that I in fact set my tripod up and take myself, and I have their thickers. They are called the Lucky Ones, and I in fact got those from Walmart, and they were super cheap. So you saw me pull from my product jar there, so I'll talk about that in a second. But what you see here is like 10 years old piece of pattern paper. I want to say it's from K & Company, but it has some like a spring green hue to it with some dots in the background, and it also has some sort of texture on it. Looks like maybe embossed stencils and stuff like that, like with some dots, some Swiss dots with some glitter. So it's got fun little bit of dimension on that sheet already. So I'm gonna just start pulling from my stash pieces of pattern paper that I think that I like the colors that go with the pattern paper that I chose for the top portion of my layout. And they are just bits from my stash. Probably from a Michaels pattern paper pad. And you can see that I pulled from that thicker pack the word love in a banner, and those have glitter on them, and those are really fun. I'm liking those. So I'm showing you here my paper smooches roses die, and I in fact cut that with a vanilla brown type taupe cardstock, and I'm just backing it up on some 6 by 6 pieces of pattern paper from my stash. I'm going to add this love word to a piece of textured vellum that I got from Stampin' Up. It's really old. It's a 6 by 6 pad. And I'm going to, in fact, put it on the back of this love. And I'm also going to end up down the line adding it to the back of that white frame you see there. And so yeah, back to the start of my layout. I'll tell you that I pulled stitching and sewing, punches, enamel dots, washi tape, tags, stencils, and ephemera. And the only thing that doesn't get used is stencils on this page. And it's just because that already had an effect on it. The pattern paper anyway. So I'm showing you there, that's an LE Studio Project Life card that I just cut a tag out of with my Studio Calico. Very loved tag dies. And I just wanted that coral color. I guess I don't have a lot of that color in my stash, so I went rifling through my Project Life cards and ended up finding that. And I thought it was a good match to some of the color pulling from the top portion of that background paper. Let's see, I'm going to glue these roses onto this frame, onto the bottom half, because I want to cover up those arrows. They don't go with my page at all, so I'm going to do that, let those dry, and I'm going to move some stuff around for a little bit and try to figure out, some of the colors that I want to use. This is a sticker sheet from Stampin' Up. I'm going to pull a heart gold sticker off of there and kind of just put it on, hanging off, just, for some fun, giving it some movement. And then I'm going to also pull from a really old ephemera pack. I don't know which one because I can't remember, but it's a vellum gold heart, and I'm going to staple that onto a cork heart that I have in my stash, and those were probably ridiculously old from close to my heart. So yeah, I'm going to add that on there, make my own little embellishment, and I really like how this turns out in the end. And so this picture, to talk a little bit about it, every year I make my family, and I stress the word make, I make them sit for a photo on January 1st, so I can document through the years how we've changed and how we've grown, and so on. So yeah, they kick and they cry, but they do it anyway because I said so. And it takes 5 seconds. You see, nobody's wearing anything special. My son always is in athletic clothes. So, so I printed that in color just because I feel like, why not? I wanted to be realistic to everybody's clothing choices when I said, pick something that, is what you want to wear. So that's what they picked. I pulled some washi tape from my stash that's like a corally color, and I just put it on a piece of white. The flip side of that white, or the flip side of that turquoise pattern paper was white, so that was a perfect, I had cut that down, so I just put it on the back of there. I wanted to tuck it down at the bottom there for some added color. And now I stamped from Studio Calico the phrase "Picture Perfect" on some vellum with some white detail embossing powder. I'm just going to staple it onto the little white quote-unquote space of that photograph. And that's actually going to serve as my stamped element on the page. The only other element that gets put on here is my favorite Heidi Swap date stamp, which I will put on at the end. And yeah, looking through, I don't use too much on this page except for scraps of 6x6 paper and just a handful of other things. Those are just strips of paper. I do end up, I want to say it was right after this, I end up deciding that I do in fact want to bring some black into this layout, just small bits of it. And that is strictly because I found in my stash, which I've literally been moving around for probably a zillion years, a quote, a vellum quote. You guys remember those packs of vellum quotes? I kept one that was very meaningful, and I thought, gosh, one of these days I'm going to get this on a page. And today was the day. So it says, life isn't a matter of milestones, but of moments. And I thought that was very appropriate for a new year type layout. And me talking about how I love always is my kind of title, but then I also have a lot of other word stickers to, make and serve as little subtitles, so to speak. So you can see here, this is where I've decided I'm going to add some striped black and white diagonal paper, and that is just, pulled from my 6x6 pads. And going to add this love thicker that I in fact showed you earlier. I backed up on some vellum. The always word in gold there, I'm going to throw out that maybe these are from Maggie Holmes a long time ago. And so I'm going to get quite a few of those word stickers on this page. And you can see there I backed up the frame with the same vellum. And right there I showed you I'm using some Life in Color brads. Those are going to make it onto the page as well as some My Mind's Eye enameled dots. And, this page came together very quickly, like in an afternoon. I started it right after lunch, and by the time I had to go pick my daughter up from the bus, I was done. And so I end up moving the quote from the bottom there where I originally was going to put it up to the top. And that's just to bring your eye down to the photograph and finally moving it diagonally down towards the title. Now I like how this layout is reading as soft, muted colors, and that's actually what I was going for. I was kind of just wanting to keep, some of the softness as well as, coincide with the colors in my photograph. I always try to match that up. It doesn't always work out, but, it's something that's in the back of my mind as I'm creating each page. And so here you see, I wanted a reinforcer for that tag. And so I just cut with my scissors that little banner that was on the bottom of the Project Life card from Ellie's Studio. And I'm just going to adhere that to the top of that tag. I will then use my Stampin' Up! Eyelets and set that tag with an eyelet, and later run some crochet twine through the hole, and I'll eventually add a handful of my Tim Holtz Tiny Attacher staples to the page. You guys know, if you've been following for a while, that I like adding, first of all, making the tags to my, or the string to my tags, usually wonky, and stapling it, into a squiggle mess. And so I do in fact do that on this page. And I staple down some of the edges on those grounding horizontal pieces of pattern paper. And yeah, you can see this is like I mentioned, this came together very quickly. You can see it's just that handmade element. Of course, the flowers I made myself and the frame. And so I'm looking at words. I in fact choose hello, beautiful, delightful today. And those just, signify just, how I'm feeling. I'm very happy and blessed. And so, yeah, I think the next thing I'm going to do is, like I mentioned, set an eyelet, run through my crochet twine, and add some staples and enamel dots. And that's about it, you guys. So if you love this video, I would really, really appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel. Give this video a thumbs up. Stay tuned for more, of course. If you're subscribed, you can see I usually post one video a week. I also will link my Instagram and Facebook pages in the description box below. And yeah, I would love for you to come over there and follow me there as well. And I'm really pleased with how this turned out. And I appreciate you guys for stopping by today, watching this video, if you stayed tuned to the end. And I will see you soon. And you guys have a great week. Thanks. Bye.